Meg, why you lying on that boy?
Is it the truth or a lie? Everybody back up. Give him room. Give him room. He's got the baby. Thank you so much.
Beautiful family. Beautiful family. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me.
Give him space. Give him space.
Excuse me.
Sorry, what you wanted as the outcome, my guy?
Slab. Jesus is Lord, my friend. Jesus is Lord, my friend.
Your whole team came. What's up, Pop? He's got the baby with him, baby boy.
In the Tory Lanez trial, we had opening statements. Opening statements are still actually going. We had to pause midway through for lunch. Better than TV. If you watch the prosecution's opening statement, you would say guilty. If you then watch the defense's opening statement, you would say, what the hell is the prosecution thinking, charging him? Basically, the prosecution started with this story. They said that, hey, they're all at the party, and Tory is leaving the party with Meg. They're in the car. An argument breaks out, during which Meg says and insults his skills as a rap artist. This leads to a situation where she gets out of the car, and he shoots at her feet and yells, "Dance, bitch." And then she ends up at a hospital, and a doctor takes out 3 fragments of bullet wounds from her foot. Now, if you just hear, and the prosecution says that Kelsey...
Oh, pow, this your boy Sophie. Man, it's getting saucy, man. It's getting real saucy. Man, on the first day of the court, man, we found out that Meg was messing around with Ben Simmons, Tory, the baby, man. The whole truth is coming out. Now, they just confirmed that they found gunpowder on Tory Lanez. Now remember, there was a lot of doubts whether they found gunpowder on Tory Lanez or Meg's ex-best friend. Now, on the first day of the court, it has been confirmed that they found gunpowder on both of them. So that make the case even a little more tricky now, because now the judge don't know who really shot the gun for sure. They both got gunpowder on them, so now it becomes your word versus against my word. And it got even more confusing because they found out Meg was drunk that night. When somebody's drunk, they don't remember a lot of things. They don't judge a lot of things perfectly, you know what I'm saying? So now the judge looking at this case, put gunpowder on both of them people that they accused, and the victim was drunk. So everybody's story is not to be trusted. They can't trust Tory Lanez because he said the best friend shot Meg. They can't trust Meg because she was drunk and she kept switching up her stories. They can't trust Meg's ex-best friend because she have gunpowder on her as well as Tory Lanez. So this verdict is going to be really, really crazy because the story could go either way because we have no evidence. They really don't have no evidence or clear path to the actual shooter was. Now, another update that just happened, Meg ex-best friend said she'll tell everything that happened that night only if the court promised that she will not go to jail. Now, hold on. This is real saucy. Now, it's very weird for the court to allow that, but this is not new. That's something that the courts be doing. That's the same thing as a snitch. When you snitch, and the court make sure that you don't go to jail. And if you do go to jail, you're not gonna go for a long time. So that's what the first day on her stand up, Meg ex-best friend. That's the first thing she requested. She said, if y'all can promise me I'm not going to jail, I'll tell y'all everything that happened that night. And I just walk away free and go home. Maybe she'll get some community service, something like that. She get some community service, something like that, but no jail time. That's what she requested. Now that make the story even more fishy for to believe who actually shot Meg. You understand? So leave a comment and a like. Let me know how y'all feel about the case. Let me know how y'all think the case gonna go. Subscribe, comment until we have more videos coming, man. More updates. Sophie, I'm out.
The other woman in the car is going to testify that Tory shot Meg. And Kelsey has a text message where she texts somebody that, hey, Tory shot Meg. And then the rest of the prosecution's case is based on all these calls and texts where Tory's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so drunk. He never says that I shot him. He's like, oh, I'm just so sorry. I'm so drunk. So question what he's apologizing for. So that's the prosecution's case. Seems pretty easy. Then the defense comes up and man, it gets spicy. First, the defense goes, they're not telling you about half of what's going on. The most important thing they're not telling you about an eyewitness who saw two women fighting, Kelsey and Meg. And so let's talk about why them two are fighting. Let's talk about how she was in the front seat. The gun was caught in the front seat. Let's talk about how she might have gunpowder. She does have gunpowder. Let's talk about how this has nothing to do with the fight between Tory and Meg and everything to do with the fight between Meg and Kelsey. And then the defense starts dropping the bombs. He basically says this, that they're in the car. Yeah, they left. But do you know why they left? They left because Kylie and Tory were in the pool together. And Kelsey and Meg both felt some type of way about that, to the point that Meg felt really some type of way about that. And she was really trying to go, to the point that eventually, because of how Meg is acting, this is according to the defense, Kylie Jenner goes to Meg Thee Stallion and says, it's time for you to leave. They all leave. The defense's point is what happens in the car is this. Tory questions Kelsey, hey Kelsey, why are you backing up Meg for me trying to, get it on with Kylie Jenner? Meg has been snaking men from you your whole life. I hooked up with you, Kelsey, and then Meg went behind your back and hooked up with me. And Kelsey, this is not the first time. You have been hooking up with Ben Simmons. Meg went behind your back and hooked up with Ben Simmons. You have been hooking up with the baby. Meg went behind your back and hooked up with the baby. And so the defense starts dropping all these grenades. The crowd is captivated. The jury's like, oh, what's going on? And there's every reason to believe that there could have been a fight here, not between Tory and Meg, but between Meg and Kelsey. And the shooting could have not been Tory. It could have been done by any one of the other people in that car. What does all of this mean? Well, I'll tell you a couple things. First, Corey Gamble, Kris Jenner's husband, is going to testify, so this will continue to be must-see TV. Two, the judge is terrific. I expect a very fair trial. The lawyers on the defense side are terrific. I don't know what the government lawyer was doing, giving an opening presentation that made it seem like the most open and shut case ever, when in fact there are huge questions, including an eyewitness who saw two women fighting, suggesting that you have to explain that theory to the jury, and you didn't. So I don't love the prosecution's opening in that regard. Stay tuned. We'll have the full coverage here. It's up and it's stuck in the Tory Lanez trial.
I like them freaky with a pretty skin tone. A nice little shape, but her legs stay long. She got a slim waist, but her thighs go long. Pretty little figure that can show me she's on it. Shawty was looking so nice. When I pull up, it's lit. I jump to the front, I'm caught in these bands, then I take a trip down to Miami. Stick 'em up like bricks. Reflection so hard, who shoot for the stars?
Oh my mama, yummy with it. Oh fair, yummy with it. Oh my mama, yummy with it. Oh fair, say me, let's say. Yummy with it. Oh my mama, yummy with it.